Many ladies have messaged me and also left comments on making a video about Georgina Rodriguez, who is Cristiano Ronaldo's girlfriend. She literally went from rags to riches, and this is something that we can see in the latest Netflix documentary series about her life. This is quite an interesting leveling up story. But first, let me give you a quick background on Georgina for those of you who have never heard her name before.
Muy camarera, muy limpiadora, muy dependiente. Y ahora soy la puta ama.
Georgina is from a low-income family in Spain, and she was raised by her mother only because her father was in jail for smuggling cocaine. And she got herself out of that small-town life, and she actually moved to the capital city, to Madrid, by working hard and taking random jobs. Eventually, she'd also get her first sales assistant job in Massimo Dutti that would lead her to get some sales experience, which led her to be able to level up her career notch and get her the job at Gucci. And that was the job that was going to change her life forever. Now, if we just pause there for a second, you can hear that this is quite an interesting leveling up story. I have also my story for you, which is a little bit similar but also quite different to Georgina. And I share it in my brand new workshop called How I Went from Broken Awkward to $1 Million Life. You're going to get the entire formula of how to level up, a formula that most successful women follow in order to achieve their goals. So visit levelupsecret.com and join this workshop today, but you need to hurry up because this workshop is only here for a limited amount of time and soon it will disappear. But how did she meet Cristiano Ronaldo? Because that was in the end the ultimate level up, because that really did change her life dramatically. So she was working as a sales assistant in Gucci, and one day in June 2016, Cristiano walks into Gucci right at the time as Georgina ends her shift. And Cristiano's son happens to be with him, and he approaches Georgina so that she stops and starts talking to them for a bit. Now, I have a question to my dear elegant ladies. Does any one of you work as a sales assistant in a shop where there is a possibility to meet high caliber men at work? If yes, please leave a comment and share your experience. Do let us know whether this job is a great way of meeting an interesting man and maybe be as lucky as Georgina in this case. Now, it's kind of unclear exactly how everything happened of their meeting, exchanging details, how they ended up going for drinks. I don't know if it was the same day or if it was a few days later. One thing that I do know is that the first time that they actually went for drinks, Georgina couldn't stay for dinner because she had a work engagement, a work dinner after that she couldn't cancel, which is actually a great dating tactic. Don't be too available, ladies. They only saw each other a few times before it just fizzled out between them. Because what actually happened was that Georgina's father at that exact time had a stroke and got ill, and that caused her to first of all get depressed and become quite absent, and she was not at all in the mindset for dating. So it was only a few months later when she and Cristiano reconnected, and basically from there on they started seeing each other. To give you a bit of a timeline, in November 2016, they were seen at their first official date, and then in May 2017, Cristiano posted their first picture on his Instagram. And at that point, Georgina was actually already pregnant with their first child. And 1 month later, Cristiano also had twins with a surrogate mother, which is kind of an interesting little influence in this whole story. In November 2017, Georgina gave birth to their first child just 1 year after the relationship had just started. Now let's talk a little bit about the controversy of them not being married. And the official response from Georgina has been that it's simply lack of time, other priorities right now. Cristiano has a busy schedule. Do I find it strange that a 6-year-long relationship doesn't entitle marriage, although they have kids? Well, yes and no. I mean, first of all, we need to just look at one thing. People are different. Cultures are different. Mindsets are different. I feel sometimes that people who like to speculate oftentimes like to look for kind of conspiracy theories to why things are the way they are, and sometimes come up with these kind of ridiculous claims almost just because to invent a conspiracy theory, right? The truth is that sometimes maybe it's just that simple. Maybe it's exactly what she's saying. Sometimes maybe the couple is not that traditional. Maybe they're not finding marriage to be the most important thing in the world. Yes, even as a woman, such women do exist. Maybe just timing is not right for them. Why would that be such a strange reason? I mean, I personally think that it's fully legitimate, especially after I watched this documentary series. You can really see how busy and absent Cristiano is. He is literally never around, and he also admits that unfortunately, he has to dedicate most of his time to his career. So I don't know what their plans are regarding the wedding, but I would personally not want to plan a wedding with somebody who is never around for the experience of it. But of course, on the contrary, I would personally find it quite difficult to have children with someone and not being married to that person, but that's because that's my mindset, you know? But we cannot impose on other people to think exactly the same way as we, and we cannot see things too subjectively. So maybe for Georgina it's not such a big deal, but I do think that she wants to get married and she probably wishes to get married. But who knows? Maybe she's just a simple girl who is quite happy, even just having this lucky break in life, that she is with the world's most popular football player and that she's having children with him, so that being married to him would just come as a bonus and that she's already grateful for what she's got. Now, do I think that's a high value mindset? I do think it's important to set boundaries and really do get what you want in a relationship. The problem, however, is that relationships are in a way a constant compromising. You get some of what you want, he gets some of what he wants, sometimes you both get what you both want. To me, she seems to be living quite a happy life. So even if it's not perfect, but I'm sure that it's better than where she came from. And what about you ladies? What would you do? Would you be just a girlfriend to Cristiano and have children with him, hoping to one day marry and kind of see what happens? Or would you rather walk away from him and be single and not be with him just because he's not yet offering you the ring? I'm not saying one thing is better than the other, but I do know that relationships are not black and white. And there is not just one approach that's always going to work and you have to be rigid. Sometimes you have to be a little bit patient in relationships. Also, allegedly, she's getting a monthly allowance between 50 to 100K per month. So it's not like she gets nothing out of this relationship in case things would go sour. Plus, Cristiano has also put her in his will of what we know in case something would happen. So I'm sure there are more legitimate facts behind the scenes of the relationship that we don't even know of. So it's kind of pointless to speculate, but I know this has been a hot topic, so I wanted to share with you some of my comments on that. Now, if we jump to the show, because a lot of people have been asking me, so have you watched the show? Did you like it? And I need to tell you honestly that I thought it was a bit long, a bit boring. I think that they shouldn't have done 6 episodes because this show could have easily been shrunk into a 1.5 hour long documentary about Georgina. My personal opinion is that Georgina does come across as quite likable in the series, also quite down to earth and a transparent person. I want to put a disclaimer though that I do know that it's very hard to know if this is the real person in real life, but based on her body language and her conversation, her demeanor and everything, she stays pretty consistent throughout the 6 episodes with that impression. So oftentimes one has to be really of a good actress in order to fake everything and just do it for the show. And then behind the scenes, you're this complete opposite person, right? I mean, we can never know for sure how she is in real life, but something does tell me that she has probably many of those traits, even though that's probably not the entire picture. Now, how I would like to classify Georgina based on my own impression of her is that she is what I would call the exciting girl next door. And I do believe that the girl next door element of her, that's actually her superpower in this whole story. You see, not all men want a woman with a specific character. As an example, she's no Angelina Jolie, who is this captivating, mysterious woman, or she's neither, a sensual Monica Bellucci type. She is a beautiful girl, but, compared to Irina Shayk is a wow, she's a showstopper. Georgina is more of an attractive girl with regular appearance. She has, of course, a beautiful smile, she has a beautiful body. Who knows, maybe that's what Cristiano likes. I do like her personality. She's quite outgoing. She's also confident without being overconfident. But I wouldn't say that she has any specific charisma, okay? She's just a simple, regular girl with a regular, beautiful looks and a good personality. I also don't see her as some opportunistic woman who just saw this chance with being with Cristiano and just in it for the money. She generally seems to love him and really makes an effort of building a family life with him. She also seems to really love all the kids, including the extended family, and she does her role really well as a mother. I really think she's mothering also his children incredibly well. So I can really understand why Cristiano chose to settle with her. I do think part of it was because she's the girl next door, and many men like to settle with the girl next door. Please note, ladies, Cristiano is a very simple man himself. I mean, surely he comes across incredibly nouveau riche in his approach to things. But him and Georgina actually have quite similar backgrounds. They both come from very humble beginnings. And Cristiano is a very family-oriented man. For him, family is the most important. He also dreamt of having this really big family of his own. I think he wants something around 7 kids, he has said in an interview. But I also do think that when he met Georgina, most likely, he also had some internal kind of biological clock ticking, because men do also have that in a different way. They tend to like to settle at the time that feels right for them. And that doesn't have to be with some biological clock, perhaps. Oftentimes it's a circumstantial clock, maybe an environmental clock, and whoever happens to be around that time is usually the one who gets chosen. And I do think that Georgina really did fit the bill for him, because she perfectly fit with his lifestyle, and she is an incredibly adaptable woman who understands that his lifestyle will be prioritized in this relationship, and she's fine with that. Not every woman has that character. As an example, another reason to why potentially Irina Shayk and him broke up was because she didn't want to become this full-time mother and give up her career to have a family with Cristiano. But for Georgina, the role of a full-time mother seems to come very natural to her. Perhaps she also has the same goals. Plus, this interesting detail in the plot that when he met Georgina, he had already kind of twins on the way to him that he was having with a surrogate mother. So I'm sure he knew that, well, these twins are going to need a mother, including my first son, who is growing up without a mother. I'm gonna have 3 children on my own without a mother. Please also note that Cristiano really doesn't have much time for family life. He's not there to raise these kids 24/7. He will have nannies for that. And maybe to some degree, Cristiano maybe realized that, you know what, this is not sustainable. I need to find someone who will be my partner, who will raise these kids for me. And who knows, maybe Georgina just happened to be there at the right time. Now, the big elephant in the room is Georgina really someone to be inspired by? Isn't she some tacky nouveau riche? Or is Georgina actually elegant? One thing that I liked about Georgina throughout this entire series is that she was very open about her humble beginnings. And I do appreciate the fact that she's not pretending to be bigger than she is. Like, she openly talks about the contrast in her life, how it's a Cinderella story, how she used to, take the bus to work and Cristiano would pick her up in her Bugatti after work. Throughout the series, we do see that Georgina definitely enjoys the material side of life. And she does do a lot of the things that typical nouveau riche people do. So I'm going to give you some examples. First of all, let's talk a little bit about her wardrobe. I don't think that she is really good in that department. I'm saying it from an objective point of view because I do think that she really needs to hire a stylist. I think at this point she's maybe just styling herself, and it doesn't really look like she has a particular style. Plus, she wears a lot of very typical, what we call rich people's items. I've spoken about this in my previous video, 10 things that tell you're nouveau riche. And some of those things are, like, she's wearing this Louis Vuitton monogram branded brown belt, together with other designer branded items or stereotypical rich people's items. And oftentimes it's the combination of things that really makes it become too much. So she also wears like the typical Balmain blazer. She wears Balmain t-shirts where, you know, it says Balmain in the middle. She also really enjoys wearing her jewelry at all times. So her arms would be full of, you know, diamond jewelry, all kinds of bracelets, watch. She would also wear these like really encrusted diamond necklaces, you know, as an everyday look. She would also wear designer sneakers, all kinds of Birkin bags, especially the Birkin Himalaya bag. Because she doesn't have any particular style to her, she just looks like she is a walking advert for designer brands in a way. There are also two major style mistakes that I personally would really advise against for. And one is that she's a big fan of the blue skinny jean. And with her body shape, I feel like it makes actually her look more average than it makes her look expensive. She has a beautiful body, so it's nothing about her body, by the way. It's just that that skinny jean doesn't look very high caliber. I would also avoid not wearing workout clothes or leggings as an everyday outfit, which she openly admits that she loves wearing these leggings. Some other elegance mistakes that she did that I paid attention to is that she went to this orphanage to do some charity work, and she's quite blinged up. So she's wearing her jewelry, and she's also wearing her, you know, massive diamond ring. I don't know how many carats it is, but it's huge. I just find it a little bit inappropriate because I do believe at such occasion, one should dress down a bit and also remove the bling and kind of just like be equal with whoever is there. After all, you're in an orphanage, you know, with these children, and the last thing you want to is to, you know, flash and show off your kind of diamonds to them and have the big ring sparkle in their face. And other times that would be a little bit cringy as well is she would often take pictures of herself in front of their private jet that she would post on Instagram. Or, you know, she would pass comments saying that she could never travel without a private jet because, you know, spending 2 hours in an airport is too exhausting. So these are some behaviors that just comes across a little bit tacky and unrefined. However, ladies, I want you to know that even though it might sound like I'm judging Georgina, I'm actually not. Surely I'm pointing out some stylistical mistakes that she's doing because, let's be honest, we all do mistakes from time to time. We all have done mistakes in the past. I want us to try and understand where Georgina is coming from. She is a very simple girl who grew up with very little money, okay? Only 6 years ago, she would still be taking that bus to work as a sales girl, and she would only be dreaming of this lifestyle. Now she has almost unlimited access to spending and living this life of luxury. Quite a culture shock almost. And what happens is that when you're new to this world of affluence, many people actually have this exact reaction that Georgina is having. What happens psychologically is that if you have grown up with nothing and now you have everything, it's so easy to overindulge and just go nuts with everything. I don't think she is terribly malicious with her show off. I have really seen people behaving much worse than her. Yes, it comes across maybe a little bit insecure or immature, but I'm not seeing her doing it in a very toxic way. I think a toxic way is when people really are doing it to show that they're better than other people. So I don't get that vibe from her at all. Some people will disagree with me on this one, but I do think it's important to always take into account someone's age because it's a very common development cycle that we're in. She's only 28 years old and she met Cristiano when she was 22. So it does take time to get used to affluence and really kind of wrap your mind and feelings around it. I mean, look at Victoria Beckham, okay? She's also a footballer's wife who had a completely different personal brand in the first decade of her marriage to David Beckham. And she definitely came across more nouveau riche. However, now the Victoria Beckham today is so much more discreet, stylish, and high caliber, and not at all kind of has the nouveau riche personal branding that she had back then. So I do think there are different levels to tacky behavior, and I don't find her behavior to be too toxic or malignant. Yes, it is inappropriate, and yes, it does lack style, but who knows? Maybe Georgina hasn't discovered elegance or my wonderful YouTube channel, and maybe she has zero aspiration of even doing it one day. Ladies, just because us on this channel, we're interested in elegance and leveling up in that essence where we improve ourselves and we become more refined, doesn't mean everyone wants to do it. Maybe Georgina, she's not there yet, and maybe she will never get there. But remember what I always say, not everybody has to be elegant. And you're not going to be a bad human being if you don't seek out elegance or if you don't work on your refinement. Sure, some people can be toxic and off-putting, but I don't think Georgina is that extreme. I can also even relate to her a bit. I think she's making some mistakes and it's being documented publicly. Remember what I shared with you and also in my workshop that you can attend if you go to levelupsecret.com. I spoke about the 5 years into my leveling up journey when I made so many mistakes, even public mistakes, that caused me to embarrass myself and to really shoot myself in the foot, even though I had already progressed for 5 years. So for this reason, I do want to cut Georgina some slack because we cannot be too hard on other people and we can't be too hard on ourselves either. None of us are perfect. Not Georgina, not you, and not me. And all of us, we do make these mistakes. Who knows, maybe Georgina will learn from these mistakes and maybe these mistakes will help her grow one day. But I do think it's important to look at a person for its kindness, Do they treat people with respect? Do they have good values? Do they bring something positive to the world? And then I kind of feel, it's okay if they're different to us. I don't think an elegant approach is the only right approach to do things. Overall, elegance is a mindset, not just what somebody did and how they look like. Today, ladies, I really want you to understand that elegance is really about having compassion and understanding for one another, especially for those who are different to us. And if they are a little bit tacky in the process, if they are a little bit unrefined, it's okay, it's not the end of the world. If they want to improve themselves, maybe they will one day. The most important thing is to focus on ourselves, focus on our own level up, and make sure that we can learn from other people, regardless of how different they are. Now, in my next video, 10 things that tell your new money, we're gonna go a little bit deeper on the subject of new money because I think it's a really interesting topic right now, especially as wealth is becoming more and more accessible for more people. Now, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in that video.